Ubisoft released a new X vlog celebrating 5 years of X4 and over 20 years of X2. Bernd Lehan, the CEO of Ubisoft, was talking there about what the game did already in the past, but also about upcoming changes, like for example the 7.0 update and like he called a very unusual DLC, and I want to talk with you about the unusual DLC today. This next upcoming DLC, that unusual DLC, could be something that nobody ever had on their plan, but I want to speculate with you a little bit, do a little bit of a mind map of what could be, but I want to turn down that right now your expectations a little bit to be like in a way that makes actually sense. And for that we need to think about the stuff that Ubisoft already did in DLCs. Like they did brought new features into the game, like for example the salvage scrapping in Tides of Avarice, which they then never did anything with, for example with Kingdom End. So they just left it on the table, brought a completely new feature into the game and never did anything with that. But they won't change the game entirely, so you will not expect any MMO features, or you will not expect like a fully new AI, or you will not expect like walking on planets or something, I think. But what can we expect? Like for example, scrapping, where we do have tug ships, so we do have something like a tractor beam. Why not using that tractor beam for the player, so that you as a player can actually use the tractor beam and then do riddles, like for example, I don't know, messing around with mines, with satellites, pulling something out of specific things, making puzzles and whatever. Or we could also think about it like not only pulling wrecks, but also pulling ships that do not have any captains anymore, that are unclaimed. So for example, getting a ship that is unclaimed in a dangerous sector, then tugging it out of that sector, bringing it into safety so that you can then do something with it. Or maybe this is required for a faction and you have to solve like their issue with that lost ship, for example. I will definitely think that we will see a lot of story-based stuff again, because Ubisoft is really like emphasizing on story. And if I think about story, then think about maybe a way to connect the older games, X1, 2, and 3, to X4. Because what I am missing right now, and what would actually make X4 more of a round product in the entire X franchise, would be a connection to the older games, also a connection to your older characters, Brennan or whatever, I don't know, who didn't die and who was actually lost. There is like one human and a Teladi that got lost at X3, so maybe there is a chance that they time traveled into the world of X4. We don't know. I can only speculate there. So an unusual DLC could also be something that is like time travel of specific characters that are coming into the game, coming into the storylines. We are still missing major factions. For example, in X4, I will give you just a second to scream that to me on the screen. Like, what faction are we missing? Which one is very important? Exactly. The Goner! The Goner are still not there. Maybe they make a new entrance. Maybe they are completely lost. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out something about the Goner. What I really expect, and that's something that is like a gigantic sell point for any X4 DLC, that's new ships. I expect I will definitely, 100% we will see new ships that are only available with the DLC. We already saw new ships for 7.0. Bernd Lehan was talking about that, and there were also some showcasing on the screen that we get a new Behemoth, an Argon Behemoth E, get a new Teladi transport ship and an L-class transporter, also E version. I definitely think that we're going to expect more ships coming with the new DLC, because for a lot of people, new ships, new available, maybe even new ship types is a gigantic selling factor for a new DLC, and that I hope that Ubisoft did recognize that, and that they are working on good, maybe not unique in a way that you can only get one, but unique classes of ships for the next DLC that you can only get by buying it, that make a difference, that actually have a meaning, a purpose. Like, I am thinking right now, and tell me if you like the idea, but an M-class ship that can repair S-class ships, something like a small auxiliary, but that's basically just a flying repair station, would be such a massive, great addition to the game. Like, that could be, that one ship alone could be the thing why people would buy this. I know people that would buy the DLC just for an M-class repair ship that you can only get through that new faction that is coming, possibly new faction that is coming, or possibly a faction that will just see maybe a rise of importance. So we got a few things. We have missing factions still in the game. We have the possibility to make the galaxy bigger, add new sectors, which I haven't talked about yet, but this is the possibility. We have new storylines, of course. That's a massive thing. We have new ships, 100% happening. New ships in the next DLC. We have features that are not yet used to its maximum. So terraforming, maybe there's something coming for terraforming. Maybe there's something coming for salvaging. And another thing would be completely new features. What could we think about completely new features? Like, I got an idea. How about an L-class troop carrier with which you then can send Marines to a station and grab that station? How about that? That will be we discussed that a few times now on stream, on twitch.tv/CaptainCollins, and on YouTube here when doing live streams of X4. We talked about that a lot on stream recently, when I was attacking the Argon as Split. Using Marines to capture stations would require a new ship with a lot of space for Marines, and I'm arguing maybe even make it exclusive for Marines, so that you do not, so that the people on board are not service crew. Like, you're running around with 2,000 service crew, doesn't really make sense. But if you have a troop carrier with, like, we're talking about 1,000 Marines, or maybe 2,000 Marines, you can then send over to a station. So you would need a new ship, a troop carrier. You would need way more capacity on that ship, and you would also need new drones to send over more than 5 Marines per drone onto a target. And you could make this exclusively, that it exclusively works with stations. So you cannot use a troop carrier to take over a carrier, an XL carrier, or you cannot use a troop carrier to take over an Asgard. That does not work. Station bound only. And those drones with your Marines on board are maybe not 5 on them, but maybe let's do 50, and you have like a swarm of them going to the station and attacking that station. What I'm also thinking about, if you go a step further, like giving us new turrets, new M-class turrets, or maybe even introducing S-class turrets, like. We have M and L-class turrets, why not S-class turrets? S-class turrets would be such a great addition for missile defense, for boarding defense, and then if you have stations, of course, station boarding defense. But if we stick with M-class turrets, then just make an M-class anti-drone turret, and anti-boarding turret or something. Something like a beam, but a little bit faster, Less damage, but more accurate. Something like that. That would be great. And then, of course, we can speculate about completely new things in the game. But speculating about completely new things about the game is something that you can do in the comments. And I will be part of that discussion in the comments in this video for minimum a week. And let's go wild. Give me your wildest ideas, your wildest dreams. No MMO, this will never going to be a multiplayer game. Forget that, scratch that. But everything else, let's discuss that in the comments. I can't wait to see what you're coming up with. Thank you very much for watching. See you the next time.